Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching the Garena All-Star Championship 2016, and this is, of course, English broadcast provided by Garena Philippines Esports. I am Atlas, and with me is Arctic, and we'll be casting Game 2 of this final series between Team Vietnam and Team Thailand. And last game was quite the calculated game, ending in an explosive series of battles. So let's get on to the drafting phase here. Of course, the bans are all still pretty standard except for the Lee Sin, yeah? Because Lee Sin last game was really scary with many plays.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, throughout the series, Lee Sin has been one of those highly picked junglers throughout the All-Star series. So no surprise right there. You know, they kind of want to avoid that Lee Sin at this point, seeing how aggressive he's been played. But you know, yeah, pretty much for all the rest of the bans that we're seeing here, very standard. You know, we're seeing whichever is mostly used during 6.21. But looking at the picks here, I'm very interested in seeing that Syndra.
Thailand left Syndra open.
I know.
Syndra, one of the most powerful mages in this patch to 6.21. We're not yet in the preseason patch with all the plans and all the assassin changes. So Syndra is reigning supreme here.
Exactly, and you know, Vietnam clearly wanting that power pick early on. They do not want to give that to Duke of Thailand.
Just immediately take it away.
Yeah.
And it seems like TPL is saving their mid lane pick for much later, but they've already given away their, at least their bot lane. Ooh, the Cassiopeia is very interesting. So just going to be seeing that against the Syndra.
Yeah, you know, very interesting, I guess. And, you know, we also have the Jhin and the Graves locked in for the side of Thailand. Jhin, no surprise right there. It's like, usually you'd see Jhin throughout, like, what, more than 75% of our games so far?
If it's not Jhin, it's Lucian. If it's not Lucian, it's
Caitlyn or Ezreal.
Yeah, but those are the more suboptimal picks compared to these two powerhouses in 6.21. Of course, Vietnam picks up the very fiery brand here with the front line with the Rek'Sai.
That is going to be very interesting. If that's going to be a support brand right there.
Haven't seen that in ages.
You know, but it does work. But, you know, it's for me, it's kind of high risk, high reward depending on how you run this composition.
Like a lot of these kill lanes concerning mages, very squishy. If you get behind, you just lose. But seems like they're opting for a more watery approach here if they go for the Nami.
That went opposite real quick right there. From the fire to water, Nami, bring it on. And that is indeed going to be the lock-in and a Zyra
type here.
Zyra
for the Zyra on for Thailand, seems like they just counterpick that because grass is super effective against this water side Nami.
I see what you did there. Very interesting. But you know, we'll see if in this game it holds the same
effect.
Yeah.
But looking at Thailand's composition here, it is still very explosive. The same. A very similar kind of composition that they drafted from last game. Lots of CC, lots of potential for damage in team fights. Well, Vietnam.
I like the balance that Thailand's bringing into this composition. You know, you have the siege potential with the Trundle and the tons and tons of damage with that Jhin and the Cassiopeia. Fairly balanced, I'd say. For the side of Vietnam, let's see, you have the Maokai. You know, very interesting. You know, we haven't seen that much Maokai during the beginning of this tournament until this final. So very interesting that we're seeing Maokai right now. And
the seeds were still sprouting in the group stages and the quarters. But yeah, looking at Vietnam's composition, it's a lot of the same thing from last game. Lots of sustain, but with the right amount of damage to keep it in check.
Exactly. And you know, it worked. It worked for them so far in the first game, so you know, maybe second time will be a charm for them once again. We'll see if that works out for them against Thailand. But you know, these are two of the top teams right here. You know, if you're gonna look at the group stage, both teams got a defeat each, but you know, they slowly build up the momentum going into the semifinals. Easily took down Team Philippines and Team Malaysia 3-0. So, you know, it's just this huge build-up of momentum and leading up to this very explosive finals that we're seeing between these two teams right here.
It's really when Colossi just collide into each other. It's going to be a real big fight. It's going to make craters all around the battlefield. But last game, it really was TPL eventually just getting choked out and then exploded upon by VCSA. We'll see how they'll bounce back with this composition. The compositions are both very similar from the last game, with a few technical differences. But Rek'Sai is, of course, I want to note that pick because I think Rek'Sai performs a similar but not exactly the same role as Elise in. Lots of pressure in the early game, mobility, self-sustaining, and decent clear as well.
Not to mention the pressure on that map, you know, can pretty much be anywhere so long as you have this virtual. Hold that thought right
and
there.
hold that thought because we are loaded onto the Rift here. Again, this is Game 2 of the finals of the Garena All-Star Championship 2016. Again, this is the English broadcast by Garena Esports Philippines. You can share the stream. The link is pretty long, but bear with me. gaming.youtube.com/user/phgarena/live. Share the link with your friends, with your family. And we're going to be watching this second explosive game in Treso already. Wanting to whack that wood here. Okay, QTV.
A little bit early for that action right there. You know, they're just right on it. But yeah, let's go ahead and run these teams down here. So for the blue side, representing Vietnam's, let's see, that is the Vietnam Championship Series, by the way. So for the blue side, that is going to be QTV on the Maokai in the top lane. In the jungle, we have Levi on the Rek'Sai. For the jungle, yes, and that is going to be in the mid lane. We have Optimus on the Syndra, and to sum up our bot lane right here, we have Celebrity on the AD carry as Dilution, and Ron OP on the Nami as support.
And the red side, representing the Thailand Pro League, will be, of course, Intresso on the top lane, trolling with that Trundle. For the jungle, is going to be the Graves, being played by Noi. For the mid lane is Duke on that Cassiopeia, slithering around in that bush. And for the bot lane duo, it's going to be Colin Feet and Sek on that Zyra and Jin duo. Wow, okay. Vietnam Championship Series A. They've been having a strong showing in the previous game, but we'll see how they push that momentum forward in this one.
You know what I really find interesting about the Garena All-Stars is, you know, towards the start of this, I wasn't 100% sure if we'd be seeing the same power rankings that we've seen from the GPL, just because that I wasn't sure if the synergy was going to be there, knowing that these are all All-Stars. It's going to be hit or miss whether or not they could work together, or if the differences in playstyle will ultimately spell doom for them. But, you know, in the end, Vietnam and Thailand, you know, two of the top teams that came out of the GPL, still two of the top teams coming out here through All-Stars. So these regions clearly showing that they're some of the strongest in comparison. But ooh, look at the damage though.
Okay, lots of damage there. Just a little bit of trading, of course. This kind of damage, not unexpected from a Zyra Jin lane. That's just going to be topped off again by Rod OP. Treso still very aggressive. QTV will not have a good time CSing.
Yes, indeed. And here we go. So Levi right there, hoping to get a gank onto Juke right there. Juke a little bit lower on the mana pool in comparison to Optimus right there. But here we go.
Oh, here's the gank. Levi goes in for the Phrase Seeker, but the flash is burned for Duke. If he wants to go for a repeat gank, that will be available on the slightly immobile Cassiopeia.
Not a bad trade-off right there. You know, even though it was somewhat of an unsuccessful gank, still a summoner spell burn down is pretty big this early in the game. Especially when you're up against a Rek'Sai, not to mention, who could just be, you know, a minute after could just go for a gank once again, and then boom, without that summoner spell, could spell death for Juke. But, you know, we'll see how Levi plays this out, knowing that that summoner spell is down.
Yeah, the jungle pressure is going to be key for this matchup here. Both of these teams are evenly matched, but we're going to be seeing if Levi can actually push that advantage in the mid lane forward. He still has his flash. He can still do that really cheeky flash on Burrow for the CC onto Duke. But Noi is going for a little sneaky play here.
Will he be successful though? No sign of Levi though on that side, as he is towards the bottom right now. So that could be a little bit of that thought.
Go for the gank here. And again, there's the flash on Burrow with the immediate scatter the weak, and he is down with not a chance to retaliate. Wow, and QTV also gets taken down in Treso. Just a little sliver of health and a potion. The corrupting potion keeps him alive. Noise just there to say hi to Gromp.
Look at
Shoots
that.
him in the face.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, 1-1 on our scoreboard right now. Exchanges back and forth. You know, that was a fairly equal trade right there. And, you know, that's kind of what you'd expect of a Rek'Sai. You know, once those summoner spells are down, you'd have to be a little bit more careful. And clearly, you know, Juke was caught out, you know, without that flash, just pretty much
Oh god, here's another gank here coming from QTV. Immediately teleports down, but has to recall. Good on Golden Feet and Sek to immediately back off from the teleport there.
Oh my gosh, and Levi.
It's just a prank, bro. Levi almost gets taken down. Noise still in the pursuit. The red buff is going to slow him down. The Unburrow is there, but with a reactive flash to go in for the kill. Wow, that was some sneaky. Well, Noise has been really sneaky in this early game so far.
Exactly, and Thailand really flexing some muscles. They don't want to repeat the mistakes that have happened during Game 1. It's still fairly even, though. These are two of the strongest teams that we are seeing here from the Garena All-Star series.
Look at the damage on the turret, though. Now, QTV still has to be really, really careful.
Especially, with Intereso and Noi pushing upon that top lane, that could easily translate to being a first tower, but no, they will be backing off from that.
Ooh, backing off. Might be a little suspicious there because, yeah, Levi is not visible in the map. They don't want to push their advantages too far. But that was a missed opportunity, but you can't do anything about it. That was the correct play with the information that they had.
Truly, better safe than sorry right there. Especially, since Thailand, it's still fairly even, even though with the 1-2, gold is still very, very even. And of course, it all comes down to the gold difference right here as well. You have to take that in consideration. Look at the gold difference between Optimus and Juke right now. So early in the game, you're seeing that big of a lead. Not exactly the best. But then again, it is due to the fact that Juke went down to that first blood earlier.
Yeah, 20 CS behind is really big for mid laner matchups like these. And Duke, just so painful as a Cassiopeia that you can't fight back against a Syndra that has a really substantial lead over you. Oh, boy. Wrong place. Just survives with a sliver of health there.
Very close call there for the jungler Thailand. So
that was not the end of the line for him.
Looks like it's not done just yet.
Levi gonna gank his Golden Feet on the surprise. Of course, trying to save the carry here. Golden Feet is in the bubble. Will he be able to retreat to his own turret? No, Levi just spins around with Queen's Wrath. And Sek has to leave that place alone for a while.
Yes, indeed. It's kind of interesting that Golden Feet and Sek, they were kind of lingering going towards the mid lane, and then they were spotted off by that ward. So I was kind of wondering why they stayed that long, because that kind of translated into Levi knowing their position right then and there. And, it was just a very easy gank for them at that point.
Yeah, Levi just straight up with the from the downtown just goes for the knock up into the kill. But the gold is actually in the lead for TPL, around 800 from the first blood turret. So that's going to be a small overall lead for them, but it's a little bit painful for Golden Feet, already 2 or 3 waves behind his lane opponent here.
Very true, but the thing about the Jhin is that, especially with this composition, you could kind of afford to, Golden Feet can kind of afford to lose out in the laning phase, if things get really bad. But, when going into the mid game, what's so beautiful about this Jhin is that you can really make up through the curtain call, especially if you have a proper front line. And, you just kind of let the assistant kills get onto Golden Feet, kind of build up from there. And, the Jhin slowly builds relevance despite the difference so far that we're seeing between Celebrity and that Jhin.
What a strange movement from Noi there to go for bot lane there. Maybe setting up for a dive, maybe just trying to get some damage onto the turret, but that reveals information a lot, and Levi actually does not need to go there. They retreat before anything can happen.
Awkward indeed, actually.
Yeah, that was awkward.
Especially, Noi on that Graves, and then, the gank Illusion and the Nami in that bot lane, especially with the condition that Golden Feet and Sek is in right now. You're not really, I wouldn't say, it doesn't really translate to
advantages.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Plus the Celebrity and Ron OP has a little bit of an easier escape, knowing that is Illusion and Anami.
Plus, if you stay for that long and it becomes a 3v3 between Levi and Golden Feet and Rod OP versus Noi and the rest of his team, the bot lane, it's going to be TPL at a small disadvantage, knowing that there's sustain coming from Rod OP. There's the super burst damage coming from Golden Feet in these early game skirmishes. So, yeah, that was really quite awkward. But after that, things are calming down a little bit.
Yeah, indeed. Kind of going to a slower pace right now. But then again, here we go. So Levi going back right now, so we won't be seeing that much action just yet. Both junglers actually just having gone back. So things are taking a pretty slow pace at this point. 2-2 on our scoreboard. Still not that much of a significant goal difference, and just waiting for the action to happen here between Vietnam and Thailand.
Yeah, and Dragon's being safe from these hunters. Oh, Noi going straight for the gank. Forces the flash from Optimus. Yeah, there's the flash right there burnt. And that's actually really good for them. But of course, Duke also, his own flash was burnt as well as his ultimate. So if there is going to be a fight in that mid lane, Optimus still has the unleashed power. But they might actually just trade for the blue buff here. But QTV just guarding it. He is the Sentinel for the Sentinel. Might be a little more greedy. Oh, there's the engage. And Noi has to flash away from his team. Gonna weave away through the destroyed turret. And now QTV just goes back to business, giving the blue buff to Optimus. Okay, that was almost explosive, but good flash. Good weave away into the unmarked territory.
Yes, indeed. Casualties avoided for Team Thailand right there. Although, you know, still blue buff going to Optimus. So again, still fairly even playing field. Nothing particularly explosive just yet. Almost, but not quite.
Yeah, it seems like this game overall is a lot more action-packed. However, it ends in a lot of stalemates or equal trades.
There we go.
So it's really different from the past game, even though the compositions are supposedly very, very similar in nature.
Yes, indeed. And there we go. Things are a little bit interesting here for QTV, you know, knowing that the tower is down, which kind of grants a little bit more opportunity to gank, especially when you're that extended. But then again, good job by Vietnam by making sure that they balance that out by having proper warding on that side of the jungle. Just to avoid vulnerability on QTV's part right there.
Yeah, because QTV right now, he can't really face off against Intresso, who is 5 CS waves ahead. Oh man, seems like Dragon is being taken by Team Thailand here with Noi just shooting at the Mountain Drake immediately. They have the control, they have the vision, they have the shrine. So it doesn't seem like VCSA can respond to this.
Exactly, and you know, with Levi just so far off, and everyone else just kind of not on the same page here for Vietnam, you know, possibly no responses even.
There's a possible teleport. Oh, okay, there's the teleport from both teams because Duke is in trouble, but Optimus gets taken down for his curtain call, opens the fight actually, with Noi getting taken down. A few whips from that sniper rifle. Intresso just going straight into Rod OP. The Wild Thorns, second loss of trouble, just gets flashed out. QTV gets rooted, has to escape with his own gap closer. Now Celebrity is in the fight and he wants blood. The culling does not succeed in actually raking the lives from Team Thailand.
Yes, indeed. Now 4-4 on a scoreboard. 2-for-2 trade. You know, nothing particularly significant. Again, it's just exchanges, but no significant leads being established just as of yet.
Yeah, the Dragon is cancelled there, but so that's a small win for VCSA to cancel that Dragon. But that was such a risky fight from both sides, and it's still so even. The gold, the kill distribution is in favor of Levi, and let's see how that'll pan out. Because both Golden Feet and Celebrity really want their gold here.
Yeah, speaking of gold right here, let's look at the gold deficiency. If you're going to look at the side of the mid lane and the AD carry.
Oh man, look at the leads there.
Especially for AD carry, you know, that's pretty significant. You know, we're not even at 20 minutes yet, and that's like, what, 30, almost 30. Well, actually near 30, if I'm not mistaken.
Near 30, and the calculation for gold for that will be around a little less than 1,000 gold. That's still a lot of combat stats when it's a life or death situation, so you really don't want Golden Feet to go too far behind from his lane opponent here. Celebrity. Optimus. Ooh. Does he get a steal? He did get the steal there. That's a blue buff for Optimus.
Interestingly played there by Optimus right there. And ooh, here we go. We have a Dragon attempt happening right now. Port side of Vietnam.
You see the top lane. There's a rotation coming from Thailand to respond to this Dragon. It seems like there will be a dive onto QTV. Gets destroyed by Noi. Intresso surviving with just a little bit. But he can just lifesteal off of that with his passive, with the Hydra. It seems like this will be a kill and a turret, the second turret at the top lane there for Team Thailand. What do you think of that? Is that a better trade for Thailand, or is the Mountain Drake way too important of an objective to give up?
Well, for Vietnam, not really. I feel like Thailand definitely came up on top right there, just because of the goal that was established. Not to mention that a kill and a
turret.
An inner turret, not to mention this early in the game. That's pretty big in my opinion.
It's not going to be up to Thailand to make use of that new territory up there, but Duke in trouble. I don't think Levi was even needed there because Optimus so strong. Those were so many spears for that unleashed power. It seems like this is going to be their revenge for that top lane turret, the outer turret here, possibly being taken, but of course Noi and Intresso there for the rescue.
Interestingly,
that's just a kill.
Yeah, you know, we're seeing back and forth trades right here. You know, once somebody takes something, somebody else takes something, and then suddenly it's swaying back and forth right here. And again, although, you know, we still have like that 2,000 gold difference, but I'd say still pretty even. I can't really establish who's leading right now. I mean, just purely because there's always responses back and forth that you're just kind of waiting for something really big to happen so that from there you can establish like, okay, it's this team that's going to be leading.
Yeah, this game so far has been like a game of chess where both teams make these trades and each of them want to make the most out of their pieces that get consumed by the other team's pieces. But yeah, it's so even so far. It's a little bit of a stalemate here in the mid game. It's actually almost already mid game at 16 minutes. It's a lot more fast-paced than the game from earlier today.
Oh yeah, definitely. And here we go. So QTV gonna be spotting out that ward right there.
I think Noi wants blood. He's waiting here with the ward out.
Then he might. His patience might be, but
I
no,
think
not
they're
quite,
baiting
though.
because Golden Feet is all alone here. That's a juicy target. But it doesn't seem like he's on the right side of the map because Levi is on that top side. Pinging onto Intresso actually. But no, seems like they'll just go straight for the turret here.
Yes, interesting positioning here by Ron OP. Team Thailand completely unaware of the positioning would hold that thought.
Oh! Golden Feet gets the brunt end of that pulling, and now Sek is down and Noi is alone, allowing QTV and the rest of Team Vietnam to just destroy him. Levi gets a delayed kill there. Teleport gets cancelled. Not a lot gonna go there. Duke misses the petrifying gaze in the top lane there. Is Intresso still not teleporting away, still not recalling, making the most out of that fight bot lane.
Very interesting there. You know, Thailand was hoping to go for that 3-man collapse right now, but then again, you know, they were just outclassed by Vietnam. All of a sudden, all these people coming in onto them, and beautifully played, I gotta say, by Ron OP and Celebrity. You know, they were just kind of two before Levi came in, so just that 2v3 right there, beautifully played by the synergy between Celebrity and Ron OP.
Yeah, Golden Feet and Sek, that's the weakness of having a mage support, is when it's a life or death situation. The support can't, the support is way too squishy to try and body block, and there, Golden Feet got the brunt of the damage there, and that means Noi and Sek have to come running like a tiny.
This is what I just love about Nami. You know, she's almost the perfect support. The definition textbook support. You know, you have all the CC, you have the sustain, you even have the slight boost because of the E right there. And overall, this is just benefiting Celebrity as far as the synergy that we're seeing from this bot lane duo.
Yeah, and Sek, his kit as Zyra isn't as, say, utility as Rod OP. He's all about the damage. He's all about locking down opponents and killing them. But in there, that was a defensive situation. It seems like QTV will be on the defensive. No, it will be Noi who will get down here. That's lots of damage coming from Celebrity. There's going to be a 5v2, and Duke is in a little bit of trouble if he does not ghost out of there. It's going to be 2 kills straight for Vietnam. Evening the gold lead.
Exactly, you know, Thailand rather, trying to make these plays happen, but all of a sudden, you know, they keep on getting overwhelmed by Vietnam. So 10-7 now on our scoreboard. Although, I gotta commend Thailand though, they've been keeping fairly decent ground, mostly because of the objective pushes earlier, which is why the gold difference isn't as significant just yet.
But it seems like VCA wants to grow that gold lead. They're setting up territory here in the topside jungle, taking that top turret. And this might actually be another turning point in the game, like what happened in last game. It was a long drawn-out calculating period, followed by one mistake by TPL, and it all just falls apart from there.
Exactly, and in comparison to the previous game, we're seeing a lot more decisiveness in this game. A lot more commitment into these gangs, into these team fights. So, I feel like this is going to be much more faster paced going into the mid and late game, possibly. I'd be surprised if this actually drags, to become a really long game, because the aggression that we're seeing from both sides, really beautiful. Although, I'd say Vietnam definitely coming up a little bit more on top here.
And Mountain Drake is going to be spawning in less than 10 seconds, so that's going to be another locus point for changes in this match. So we're going to see how both of these teams set up their territory in the Mountain Dragon pit. Season's Levy just going straight for it. Dragon versus Landshark. Who's going to win?
And Thailand completely unaware of this dragon being taken here. Especially, this is what I love, the psychology of this game. You wouldn't really anticipate it, knowing that some of the other members are kind of visible on the map.
Yeah,
so, but here we go. Noi.
Levi actually bypasses the warding from TPL and is just taking it from under their noses. Does not go through the pink ward, which he is going to pass by right now. Levi actually going to try and go for a Prey Seeker into the Unburrow, but quick draws away.
There we
like
go.
A real cowboy.
A dragon and a turret being taken by Vietnam again. They're slowly building momentum here. I feel like Thailand was kind of the one that was doing okay earlier, but then again, ever since Vietnam kind of got that, started outnumbering Thailand in that clash in the bot lane, and earlier kind of near that Baron pit, Vietnam just slowly building up on that, and I feel like Thailand really needs to start responding to that.
Yeah, they need to respond to the threats that VCA. They need to know how much damage VCA can do, because this is explosive. It's Lucian and Syndra, so they have to mind where these two are coming from, who's protecting them, and so Noi can just go in and burst them down, allow Golden Feet and Sec to just clean up with their own damage.
Yes, there we go, and slowly, the gold lead building up. 10 and 7 still on our scoreboard, but Vietnam playing it a little better at this point, I must say.
It's still really interesting how the next few minutes will play out. And look at all the purple in that minimap. Whenever VCA needs Levi somewhere, he's just going to go straight for it. This is quite a diverse geographical set of tunnels for this Rek'Sai.
Exactly, and this is the type of pressure that technically Thailand should have been avoiding, and this could have been avoided had they established a little bit more control on this map. But it's just that, Vietnam overwhelming them so much that I feel like Vietnam just, overall, the map pressure plus the control, it kind of makes it harder for Thailand to make these plays, knowing that, if they make just one wrong move, if they get caught out by Levi, for example, or perhaps the numbers game happening again, as we have been seeing in those bigger clashes earlier, Thailand really needs to start picking it up.
Yeah, this game has been quite a good exhibit for these dances between mid-range compositions, like say VCSA and TPL's compositions both are quite balanced. They have CC, they have explosive damage. One of them is more explosive, but here comes the real explosive. Noi is going straight for the end of the line. It seems like the damage will not be enough from the collateral damage, and Levi just dives in there. Noi now alone, stuck between a shark and a hard plate, which is wood. And it's going to be Rod OP trying to go for the pursuit with the tidal wave. Just sidesteps away, but they're still in the danger zone. Celebrity is going to try and get sniped. QTV is going to go, oh, Mr. President duck, but Levi is always all alone here with 3 people on him. Gets away with just a little bit of help. Golden Feet and the rest of TPL not opting to pursue there. They fear the burst that can come from both Optimus and Celebrity, so they're just going to peel away with only 1 death for that explosive team fight.
Exactly, 0 for 1 again in favor of Team Vietnam, and this is what I've been saying. Thailand trying to attempt making these plays. It's just that the vision control that they don't have allows Vietnam to just overwhelm them in pure numbers, and this is just really hurting Thailand as this game builds up, because looking at this right now, 11 and 7 plus the goal difference.
Oh no, you
right
did
there,
not
though.
want to be there. But that's not enough damage coming from Optimus, but it might be just to scare him away so he can get his blue buff for himself. Seems like Duke is having none of that. Ooh, gets stunned. Oh, that's painful. And here's the rest of the squad. Gets dived on. That was all a bait, and Optimus gets his cake and eats it too.
This is what I'm talking about. Thailand really needs to start establishing at least some form of ward control, even even in their own jungle, because clearly, Vietnam just has so much confidence roaming in this jungle, knowing that they have so much control in this game at this point, that Thailand, I'm kind of worried for them.
Yeah, because earlier in the game, it was all about control, calculated trades, and right now, VCA succeeded in that control game with the wards, with the right initiation. Suicide Noi wants to try and salvage that, but Celebrity just out of range of that final shot from Curtain Call. And yeah, TPL, they're not really finding the right opportunities here. Optimus has an opportunity to try and get this turret. Gets looted down. Noi wants to take it. Optimus gets taken down by Intereso. And now the rest of VCSA is on the run here. That's one opportunity they actually should have. The kinds of opportunities that TPL should take advantage of.
Exactly, and even though it doesn't seem as significant, at least it's kind of a stall in a way. Although QTV, look at him, just confidently pushing the top lane right here. Noi and Golden Feet going to try to respond to this.
TPL really has to break their backs to defend their territory here. It seems like QTV will get looted. This is 3 people. I doubt QTV will be able to survive even with his passive. But looks like there's a trade coming here, and Duke falls down to Levi and 2 others.
Yeah, it's not bad at all played by both teams right here. Again, this is Thailand just trying to get what picks off that they have, but unless they try to figure out something explosive, or at least, I feel like, the small pickoffs just aren't enough at this point.
They really need to establish control again, even in their own territory, because in mid-range matchups like this, it's all about who gets the control first, and then you can go aggro.
Exactly.
But TPL lost the control game in the last 10 minutes, and now they have to salvage that with their own wards, with their vision, with their rotations.
Yes, exactly. And speaking of vision, mostly from what we're seeing as far as the warding, it's leaning towards a little bit more to the top, which I guess is kind of okay because, the
Baron is there.
Exactly, and that's one objective that they do not want to give to Vietnam at all. Otherwise, this is just going to spiral out of control for them.
Yeah, the Ocean Drake isn't much of a priority for both of these kinds of teams.
Exactly, yes.
So definitely. Baron is really the apple of their eye right now. It's what they're really, really wanting to kill.
And it's definitely evident, look at all these people just kind of leaning towards the left side of this map right here. Kind of, it's definitely scary for Thailand if Vietnam does attempt to take this. Although, with a proper response, they can potentially turn this around depending on how they play this out.
Yeah, the 4,000 gold lead in favor of VCSA is sort of small, so Levi is actually taking this Ocean Drake really fast right under their noses. Seems like he played upon the fact that neither of these teams were paying attention to the Ocean Drake, so they just take this for free, get a little bit of XP, get that regeneration. So with this Ocean Drake, actually, they'll be able to dance around the Baron buff more. If there are poke wars or sieges, they're going to be able to sustain themselves more.
I think what I'm finding about the composition, or rather just problematic with Thailand in general, is the fact that Juke is just kind of behind right now. And plus the fact that he couldn't get in on any of the key targets of Vietnam, it's just really hurting his cause. 0 and 5 is just so hurting him right now in comparison to the monolith of leads that we're seeing here. 7 and 2 on Levi right now. 2 and 5, fairly decent for Optimus, I'd say. Decent to say the least. And even though QTV is 1-4, he has been doing a fairly decent job at keeping the members of Thailand at bay during even the small skirmishes.
Yeah, he's drawing a lot of the attention from the rest of his team here, and it seems like Duke is still charging up his tier.
Exactly.
So he still doesn't have his one of his biggest items to boost his damage output, and that's really hurting TPL a lot in these skirmishes that they've been having.
And Vietnam can definitely capitalize on that, knowing that just based off pure items, knowing that as far as the damage, there aren't as many threats just because Duke is so behind right now.
Yep. Even though with Treso, Noi, they're also really big DPS sources, but Duke is really the one with that has to have the most gold here next to Golden Feet. Seems like just more territory establishment coming from Vietnam here. Okay, Baron Pit is basically Ho Chi Minh City right now.
Exactly, and look at everybody. They just really want on this, and Vietnam possibly trying to bait Thailand into thinking
They
that
do
they're going
have
for
the
this.
capacity for that. They have the tremor sense from Levi if they want to try and look for a bait here, see if people are coming in from places unexpected. Seems like they just still want to dance around. They can't afford to do that. They are a little bit ahead in gold 4K. They are ahead in Drakes. They also have the kill distribution advantage, actually, because Levi right now is really scary as well as Optimus.
Yeah, and you know, definitely, I feel like although Vietnam does have the makings of taking this Baron, still they can't really discount the fact that, as far as what I'm seeing, based on the small skirmishes, it's not really Thailand getting outplayed by Vietnam. It's just pretty much more of the numbers.
They're starting it, or is it a
Here we
pick?
go.
Okay, here comes a curtain call to open up the fight. They peel away immediately from Baron as their blue turret down there is exposed and destroyed. Seems like they'll have to peel away from that. The territory is still there, so however, they have the vision control. But they're pinging it again. They want to start it again after clearing out this ward. Will they actually, though? Yet they draw aggro from the Baron himself. They're gonna try and take this. Nah.
Yeah, they'll just be backing out. For the meantime,
Well,
Baron
chill
lives
time.
another day.
But this might actually be a small opportunity for TPL. No, they themselves will want to recall out of this.
Especially, you know, curtain call is down for the side of Thailand, so at least that's less of a threat as far as the damage that Thailand can juke out. But look at Levi taking tons of damage from this Baron.
Yeah, that's the Cinder Hulk for you.
Pros and cons of having that Cinder Hulk when you're near a huge objective like Baron.
Yeah, and then Sek was actually there to trigger the aggro there, because usually Cinder Hulk won't immediately, won't automatically aggro unless you're already in combat with that jungle monster. But again, the dance, the tango, the Baron tango is still ongoing, and VCSA on the lead, left foot forward.
I love how... Okay, hold that thought right there. We have a little bit of...
Okay, here go. Levi goes in, 40 on Burrow. Noi is alone here against Celebrity, gets taken out. That's a double kill for this Lucian, and this actually just opens up this Baron for VCSA. No jungler, just the mid laner, top laner, and the AD carry for TPL. It doesn't seem like they have the resources for this. Duke has flash though. Will he be able to go for a hero play? Oh, almost gets it, but now he is in trouble. Gets that revenge kill from Optimus, while he himself gets taken out by the other opposing mid laner. But that's still 4 Baron buffs and 3 kills.
Exactly, and you know, this is going to be very scary for Thailand at this point. As I've been saying, this is just one thing that they do not want to happen. 16 and 10, plus the 7,000, almost 7,000 gold lane.
3 Drakes.
Vietnam is just going to have a very easy time pushing this lane, not to mention, especially with that Lucian, with the Rek'Sai as well.
And the 2 Mountain Drake buffs doing work for them. And just cleaning out this jungle after taking those 2 turrets. Wow. They're just going to extend their lead. Even the Krugs don't get mercy from the Purifier.
And you know, so far this is just pretty textbook for Vietnam at this point. They played the numbers game, they've played making sure that they get these objectives, plus the map control, not to mention. It's just...
They've just been controlling it.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like Thailand just isn't responding to this well enough. Well, I can't really blame them because, again, what I've been saying is that they just don't have the confidence to roam around this map, knowing that the control is just so lost on them.
Yeah, and Tressel just gonna little noodle fight with Levi here. That's not gonna end unless Noi intervenes. He's in position. Will he take the bait? No, Shark. The land shark does not take the fisherman's bait here. Celebrity trying to see if he can weave around.
That was kind of like a Jaws theme song playing in the back of my...
Okay, Levi is in vision, so no Jaws theme. But here comes the Dragon Hunters. They're going to try and take that down really quickly, actually, for 2 frontliners.
That is going to be so painful. 3 Mountain Drakes.
30%.
Oh, God.
Of their damage on top of what they already do. So this is going to be really painful. The Baron buff is ticking really quickly now, so they have to make the most of it. But even after it wears off, they still have a 30%.
Exactly, and that just really causes problems for Thailand.
Oh, Optimus. I knew him, Horatio. That's Intresso with the defense on the top lane. But let's see, that's actually pretty okay win for TPL there. That's just one kill, yes, but it helps them a little bit.
Yeah,
and,
it does cause that delay in
And
this
Optimus
game.
is gone for the next half minute.
Definitely. And you know, these are the kind of delays that Thailand needs right now. You know, even though it seems kind of small, you know, even the smallest delay, Thailand needs it at this point.
Noi. Surprise!
Oh.
And Noi actually able to get out of there. The credit call now again opens the fight. QTV under duress here. Oh man, the GA gets popped from the side of Intereso, and this fight is still ongoing. The Solari gets burned. That culling is dealing so much damage. The Celebrity is on a rampage, and they're on the pursuit. The pursuit is relentless. They still have the Baron buff. They have 30% bonus crew damage on top of turrets. This is just really scary for TPL right now. I thought they had at least a little fighting chance there.
Exactly,
But
you know.
once Celebrity entered the fight, it's just goodbye. It's all
Technically, they
over
had
the
the
grind.
numbers advantage. It's just that Vietnam.
QTV's gone. This is going to be an opportunity for TPL. Levi, another frontliner, will have his GA pop. It's up to Celebrity and Rod OP to try and kite them back. Levi, the GA is wasted. Just buys him a little more time. Celebrity and Rod OP just escape with their lives.
Not bad at all played.
Not bad.
You know, that's the delay that they kind of needed, especially knowing that the siege potential that we're seeing from Vietnam, just purely because of that 30% Mountain Drake right there. You know, they need all the stalls that they need to try to get back into this game. And, you know, Vietnam, I feel like a little bit overconfident right there, especially knowing that Optimus was down and wasn't even near that, actually.
They just got caught off guard there. Celebrity gonna try and take down Intereso again. Melee form, relentlessly pursuing away and into this troll. The culling again reaps the reward, the shutdown, and Celebrity just still getting bigger and bigger.
Again, what I've been saying about Thailand, it's all about the control.
Yeah.
Still, you know, even with the small win earlier, I was kind of hoping that they would have at least established a little bit.
That buys you time to get wards and spread them all over your map.
Exactly.
Seems like Optimus again in a little bit of trouble, like with the last time, almost getting caught. Flash saves him, but QDV body blocking for the rest of his team. Noi in a little bit of trouble, but he is one of the frontliners.
Current call will be cancelled out by Jin right there, only getting 2 shots in.
Ooh, but look at the tower and inhibitor. Seems like they will be able to get this really, really quickly. Look at that. Light Slinger plus 3 Mountain Drakes equals sad inhibitors. And they're just one by one unlocking the the doors of TPL's base. And that's 2 inhibitors down. That is going to be really, really hard for TPL to try and defend against.
Again, you know, it's all about trying to get these small delays. Although, with what happened right now, it's going to be pretty hard for Thailand to even delay this at this point.
Yeah, that's already 2 nails on the coffin there.
Because it's not, as I've been saying, you know, they've been having problems with control. And forget about even establishing control. They have to exert most of their effort just purely off defending this base right here.
Yeah,
and
they don't have the resources for it at this point. And that's really what happens when you try to go aggro before you actually have the vision over this area, over your own territory. And right now, the dance will again be centered onto Baron. It will be spawning in a minute, but lots of pings already onto that area.
Yes, there we go. So they will be definitely, you know, if at this point Thailand really needs to try to prevent this Baron from even happening from the side of Vietnam, because that is just going to be a very easy push for them at that point.
Golden Feet, no, wrong place for a Jin. That culling again will be the one to destroy Golden Feet. And that's the AD carry gone. They have an opportunity to get this top lane inner turret and maybe even inhibitor.
Exactly, you know, very questionable from Golden Feet right now, especially knowing that they barely have any control over this map. Plus the fact that he was just alone, you know, nobody to support him if ever anything were to happen. And plus the fact that they don't even have any form of solid warding around their map. You know, it just became an easy target for Vietnam.
Man, look at a turret burn. Now it's going to be an inhibitor that will be the target next. Lots of wave clear, lots of auto attack damage coming from VCSA. And now that's 3 inhibitors down. This is way too difficult for TPL if they keep going with the siege here. There's going to be so many super minions. And with the Damage coming from Celebrity is just going to go down really, really quickly. Tidal Wave sets up the fight there for Levi to dive in. Duke does not deal enough damage. Gets taken down by Levi. Sek is almost going to escape. Goes into turret, but at the cost of his own AD carry's life. And that's the last Nexus turret down, as that is an almost ace coming from TPL, and that's going to be game 2 in favor of Team Vietnam.
Oh, gosh. That is just very, it's just Vietnam building upon the momentum, I feel, at this point. They developed much more confidence that earlier during the game, it was just fairly equal ground. Everybody's trying to sight each other out, look each other in the eye. But then at this point, we see a lot more decisiveness coming from Vietnam. And as a result, Thailand just was not ready to respond to that. There was just so much pressure on that map. Not to mention the vision that Vietnam was able to establish, and it just kind of skyrocketed from there for Vietnam.
It's a lot of superior control from Vietnam there. It's like a chess game. At first, it's just a lot of equal trading, trying to squeeze out the most value out of your pieces. But at the end there, it was just Thailand's king running away from a queen and the rest of the rooks and the pawns.
What I really would have hoped is that, after getting those, small pickoffs, Thailand did have those small victories. The least that they could have done was establish some sort of ward control, just so that they could roam around a little bit more. It's just that without that, Vietnam was just so confident about roaming, and as a result, we did see Intresso getting picked off. We saw Golden Feet getting picked off at the last moment, and that just ultimately
that's been a pattern. Golden Feet getting picked off because of really overconfidence around his own turrets, and he pays for it. The entire team pays for it.
Yes, definitely. And nonetheless, I guess we're at match point at this point. With just one win away, just one win more for Vietnam, they could potentially win it all. But nonetheless, ladies and gents, for the meantime, that was Game 2 for the finals of the Garena All-Star Championship 2016 series. Of course, we were your casters for today. This is Coach Arctic at your service, and with me is Atlas. If you guys want to check out whatever happenings or anything about the All-Star, you can check it out at allstar.garena.vn, and we will be seeing you in just a little bit. Stay tuned.
40 on Burrow. Noi is alone here against Celebrity, gets taken out as a double kill for this Lucian, and this actually just opens up this Baron. Oh, almost gets it, but now he is in trouble, gets that revenge kill from Optimus. Now again opens the fight. QTV under duress here. Oh man, the GA gets popped from the side of Intresso, and this fight is still ongoing. The Solari gets burned. That culling is dealing so much damage. The Celebrity is on a rampage, and they're on the pursuit. The pursuit is relentless. They still have the Baron buff. They have 30% bonus crew damage on top of turrets. This is just really scary for TPL right now. I thought they had at least a little fighting chance there.
Exactly,
but once Celebrity entered the fight, it's just goodbye.
Technically, they had the numbers advantage. It's just that Vietnam.
QTV's gone. This is going to be an opportunity for TPL. Levi, another frontliner, will have his GA pop. It's up to Celebrity and Rod OP to try and kite them back. Levi, the GA is wasted. Just buys him a little more time. Celebrity damage coming from VCSA. Now that's 3 inhibitors down. This is way too difficult for TPL if they keep going with the siege here. There's going to be so many super minions. And with the damage coming from Celebrity, it's just going to go down really, really quickly. Tidal Wave sets up the fight there for Levi to dive in. Duke does not deal enough damage. Gets taken down by Levi. Sek is almost going to escape. Goes into turret, but at the cost of his own AD carry's life. And that's the last Nexus turret down, as that is an almost ace coming from TPL, and that's going to be game 2 in favor of Team Vietnam.
Oh.